Talk about pollution, the heat and humidity as well, and we know it's very warm. Is this going to be the toughest games ever for the athletes?
I think it's certainly going to be one of the more challenging ones. See, we haven't developed hacking coughs just yet, I'm happy to say, but I was actually at the IOC Congress 7 years ago in Moscow when the games were awarded to Beijing. Many political debates at the time, but I don't think anybody realized how much air quality and pollution would become such a major issue. As you know, China has shut down hundreds of factories. They've taken hundreds of thousands of cars off the road to try and improve air quality. And the chief IOC medical officer says it's fine. Still falls short of World Health Organization standards, however. The proof of the pudding, Sue, will be tomorrow. It's the men's road race in cycling, 148.5 miles of grueling territory. And of course, we know that in Athens, only half of the field finish. I wonder how many will finish tomorrow.
And we're getting a tremendous reaction here in the stadium. But Carrie, you're the former BBC correspondent here in Beijing. Can you tell us what the Games means to the people here in China?
Well, as far as I can make out, Sue, people here really are not exposed to the negative messages that we've been talking about, the protests, the environmental worries, the heavy-handed security. So they, apart from a few exceptions who have been evicted for Olympic venues or who have an uncomfortable habit of speaking their minds, and so the government's removed them from Beijing for the duration of the Games. But most people are proud, they're ready to party after 7 years of getting ready, and they are just looking forward to the fireworks, both here over the stadium and in the Games themselves on the field.
Okay, Carrie, Hazel and Hugh, thank you very much. It's about to start. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes. But as I mentioned, here the world is watching. It's the first time that China has ever hosted the Olympic Games. But let's hope that our lasting memories as we leave the Games is all about the tension, the drama and the talent of those performing here. And talking of talent, there's plenty of it. So many of the world's greats are here in Beijing. The pressure is on. Some of the stars will follow over the next 16 days, but here, well, we heard from them earlier, two of the Olympics all-time greats, Michael Johnson and Sir Steve Redgrave. I'd love to sit here and we start talking about the sport, but there are other issues involved here, Michael. For example, President Bush is here for the opening ceremony tonight, the first time that an American president has been on foreign soil for an opening ceremony. What has been the reaction to that back home in the United States?
I don't think that many people are really so surprised that he decided to come here, and I think his decision is less political. He's a great sports fan, a huge sports fan, and he's done his own thing throughout our presidency, and I think he probably made the personal decision that he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity and come here and see this and be a part of the opening ceremonies, regardless of what anyone thinks back at home. Back at home, we've got the elections coming up in November, so everything is made political at this point. So you've got one side saying he shouldn't have come here, and then you've got a lot of people saying that he should come. So it's been divided in America for the last few weeks as to whether he should or should not come here to these ceremonies, or whether it's a sign of supporting China. But I think he kind of hedged his bet a little bit earlier. He said earlier yesterday, he made some comments about the Chinese government. They said that he was meddling, but he showed up here anyway.
And also, I mean, the athletes, many of the athletes, including the United States team, choose who will carry their flag in the opening ceremony. The American athletes have nominated Lopez Lemong, who's a Sudanese refugee. That's making some statement.
I think it's a great statement, and it's a very strong statement. And from what I understand from the U.S. camp, that the decision was unanimous The flag bearer is chosen by all of the team captains from all of the different sports teams, and they unanimously voted for Lopez Lemong to be the flag bearer. And from what I understand, everyone's extremely pleased with that choice. And he's obviously a great story, and I think that it sends an incredible message that the U.S. team comes in here and without an American, but an American citizen who just got his citizenship a year ago, being the flag bearer.
Well, they're in fact in their president booth with Vladimir Putin, the Russian Prime Minister. We're getting ready for the countdown. It's not going to happen just yet, but Steve, if I can just come to you and say, we were at the torch relay in London, disrupted their disruptions all around the world. But you've got to remember that this is a sporting contest, and you've got to give the athletes some thought as well.
That's right. I wasn't against the protesters with the torch relay. I thought that was a good thing in some ways, that the world has had their say of the issues hounding China, Tibet, and those types. But now it's the athletes' time. We didn't want any boycotts. There isn't any boycotts. Whatever the games is going to be, the athletes have trained really hard for these games. This is their moment. This is their time. This is what they've been working towards. And this is going to be a fantastic beginning to some fantastic events. And the next 17 days are going to be absolutely amazing, I think.
Because as you guys mentioned at the top, this is the pinnacle of every sportsman and
It really is, and these athletes, again, like Steve said, this is now the athletes' moment, and these athletes are having to block out all of those things, and all of the things that we've been talking about, the pollution. The pollution may actually have some effect, but the weather and the political issues, all of that has to be on the back burner now, and now it's all about the athletes.
Okay, well, just as a warning there, you can see there are a lot of flashing strobing lights, and there will be right the way through to the countdown of the start of the opening ceremony. We're just about to begin, so let's go straight back to our commentary team led by Hugh Edwards.
And this is